What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Storytime video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about paranormal experiences I've had. And there are some crazy ones. Alright, let's start with... Alright, we'll talk about the bodies in the creek. One time, my aunt had a friend or whatever, and we used to go over to their house or whatnot. And one day I had a feeling or whatever. I was sitting in the car and I was like, there's bodies in this creek. And everybody looked at me like, you're kind of crazy. Well, one day my little cousin had snuck in the car with us to go to the house. And we seen a whole apparition of a woman, and she was coming to the car. And I told him, I was like, she was draining both our energy. Like, we both seen it. We was like, we both can't be tripping. So I told him, let's join hands so she can't drain our energy. So we're up in this car and we're like, holding on to each other, because if you put your palms together, a spirit can't drain your energy. Energy radiates through your palms. So we did that. She went away because my aunt came back to the car, and I'm like, there are bodies in this creek. Well, a few months later, it made the front page of the newspaper that a serial killer used to live in that house in Tennessee, and they found bodies in the walls of the house. They found bodies in the creek. It was crazy. And I was like, I told y'all. Some people brushed it off like, oh, it's just a coincidence. And I'm like, that ain't no coincidence. It made the paper. I told y'all there were bodies there. Like, for real. Like, that was crazy, man. So then, this other time, I was dabbling in witchcraft. And I was doing some Venus love spell. And I had a candle that was about this big. And me and my sister were doing it. And I did this spell for her or whatnot. Well, I blow the candle out. I go back downstairs. I come back upstairs. The candle is nowhere to be found. Like, I'm walking around everywhere. I left the candle in the middle of the floor. So I'm like, where is the candle? This whole big candle just went missing. And I know it's not on the floor. I'm pacing back and forth. If it was still in the floor, I would have tripped over it or something. Won't in the floor. So I let it go. I go back downstairs. And the dang candle is back in the middle of the floor. It kept moving around. So that's what I decided to not mess with this witchcraft anymore, because I done something, it worked, and whatever it was, like, I don't even want to go back to that. Now let's get to this craziest, scariest night of my life. Was at Sensabaugh Tunnel in Tennessee. Me and a group of my friends, we're going down there, me and my homeboys, we're listening to Slayer, we're listening to Hella Waits by Slayer, because we're going to this haunted tunnel. Well, story has it that it's on an Indian burial ground, and up the street from the tunnel, a train track goes over it. Up the street from the tunnel, there's a cemetery that has the family buried in it. Well, apparently a woman, she was running from someone, and she drowned in that creek that runs through the tunnel, and she drowned her baby in it. Well, we go there. It was during the day to go check out the area. And when I tell you, I've got pictures of this. I'll have to find them and show you guys, because I've got pictures of the actual demons in the tunnel, like during the daytime. It's crazy. I've even showed this picture to a priest, and he confirmed it. He said this tunnel is like a gateway, like a portal, and to stay away from it, because it's not just spirits. There's spirits trapped there because demons are holding them. And now, so we're there during the day. I'm walking on top of it to the train track, and it's in the middle of the woods and the mountains. Tennessee's surrounded by mountains and just this woods. Well, during the daytime, you kept feeling like someone was watching you. I was on top of the tunnel. Something told me to get down from the tunnel, because I felt like at any minute something was going to come up and push me off of it. So I go down, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be crazy when we come at nighttime. So we go there at nighttime. Now, we was in this hoopty. It was my homeboy's mama's hoopty. And my window didn't roll up all the way, okay? So it's nighttime. And when I tell you, I've never had this gut feeling. Like I said, we're listening to Slayer Hella Waits. We're like, yeah, we're going to this haunted tunnel. You know what I mean? And as soon as I laid eyes on that tunnel at nighttime, this gut-wrenching feeling came over my body. Like, I've never experienced something like this in my life. It was crazy. Immediately, I was on edge. It was the scariest sight I've ever seen. It just hit you in the pit of your stomach. And we go in there. There's water, of course, so we park in there. And we park in there. This is like 2 days before Halloween, because we were going to go back on Halloween. Whew. We park in there, whatever. The car dies. The car just dies automatically. And I'm like, oh my God, like the car died. What are we going to do? It's pitch black in this tunnel. I take my phone out and I'm going to snap 3 pictures, because, you know, 3 is very significant when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm snapping 3 pictures. 2 times my flash works. All of a sudden, the 3rd picture, my flash did not work. My battery started dying. But when it did, after I snapped that 3rd picture, something told me to snatch my hand back in the window. And when I did, it sounded like a banshee shrilled down the tunnel, like the loudest scream ever, shrilled down the tunnel. We're trying to get out of there. I'm like, start the car, the window don't roll all the way up. Well, he goes to start the car will not start. I kid you not, the car will not start. He was shaking. I have never seen him so scared. He was a big dude. Like, I've never seen him so scared in my life. I'm like, dude, start the car. Finally, the car started. We got out of there. All right. That was in his mom's car. We decided to go back. We go back the next day or whatever, and we're walking through the tunnel at daylight again, because the tunnel where all the drownings took place is sealed off. So there's this wall right here through it, you know what I mean? And we're walking in there, and I kid you not, on the other side of that tunnel, on that wall, on the other side, we heard 3 knocks. And I was like, ooh, we got to come back tonight. Well, that was a big mistake going back that night. So we go back that night, and we're driving my car. I had a Honda Accord. Well, what happened was, we're driving through there or whatever. I got my car in park. At first, it would not let us go in the tunnel. Something literally pushed my car back. The car was going in reverse, and I'm in park. Like, how is that possible? Something like a force was pushing, and I think whatever it is in there, the Indians talked about seeing a demon dog that haunts the place, like a skull dog. And I kid you not, in the picture, you can see the skull, and it looks like horns, like it has horns in it. You can see the woman's face distorted. You can see a baby skull connected with her face. Like, all these images are so twisted, and they're coming through the wall, and I have all the pictures of it. Like, you can see a pig head. Like, it looked like a demon, like a pig. It had a snout. It was the most twistedest stuff. And it looked like these demons were surrounding these 2 souls that were trapped, that died there. But the Indians believed in this, like, skull demon that was in the form of, like, a dog. And I have the picture of the actual skull that they were talking about. Like, you can't play when it comes to Indian stuff. Like, they know what they're talking about, man. And so it starts to push our car out. Well, we finally we book it out of there, and in the back seat of my car, you can hear someone whistling at us. Like, they were whistling. And I was like, oh man. And that night was a full moon. So okay, the next night we get back, my thermostat gasket completely busted. So we replace it. Damn thing still don't work to this day. That car is just trash. Like, real talk, that car is trash. I don't know what happened that could have caused that. We even replaced what we thought was wrong with it. Man, I'm telling you, that's the scariest thing in my life. So I decided, all right, it's Halloween. I was documenting all of this. And so it's Halloween, and I'm like, all right, let's go back. Halfway there, I started hearing that whistling again. And it's the first time in my life I told him, I was like, I don't think we should go. Like, I got a really bad feeling. It's a full moon. It's Halloween. Like, the real Halloween, the day before. Like, Sam Soane, the day before the actual Halloween, like the real Night of the Dead. We were going on the 30th. And I told him, I was like, as soon as we got close, I was like, man, I got a feeling we need to turn around. So if we would have went that night, who knows what would have happened. But I'm not stupid enough. Listen, if my gut tells me, like, don't go, I'm not going to go. You know, like, man, I've seen so much stuff. It's crazy. A lot of paranormal stuff. Oh, man. There was this one time I was laying in my bed, and I seen, like, this figure around my bed. He was wearing a cloak, and he was bald-headed. He was a white dude, and he was just moving like a snake, though, like all around my bed. I could not understand what it was. There was this one time also I was laying down. I seen like these 2 demonic nurses, except they were stitched together, and they were carrying like this medicine tray and floating around my bed with this medicine tray. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff. When I was a kid, I used to just hide under the covers and sleeping with my nana, hiding with the covers. I'd be praying in my head so the demons around the bed wouldn't hear me. So I would be under them covers till I'm breaking a sweat, just like scared to death, because when I looked out from the covers, I seen 2 arms reaching for me and blood started running down the walls. Like, I've seen so much stuff in my entire life. It's crazy. Like, ever since childhood, I've seen these things. And I got a lot more ghost stories, but let me know if y'all got these experiences too. Share your ghost stories with me. I love to hear them because that stuff still piques an interest with me. I don't dabble in it much because I've got to a point where I really scared myself with that whole candle thing, and I've seen enough to know that these things do exist and to not mess with the demonic. Like, period. Like, that Sensabaugh Tunnel experience, after I seen that, the priest, he literally gave me a rosary and some holy water. Like, he won't play, and he told me, he was like, I don't want you going back to that tunnel ever. But to this day, like, I still want to go back, but it was terrifying, literally. If you guys ever want to go somewhere that's truly haunted, go to Sensabaugh Tunnel in Tennessee. Like, look it up, research it. Paranormal investigators go there all the time, but the thing is, all they do is happen to capture orbs. But priests have been there. They'll tell you, like in the description, if you Google Sensabaugh Tunnel, the priest will tell you that this is a place of great evil. No one should go there because they believe it is a portal, an active portal. And the fact that the water runs through it, that just gives it that much more power. So I don't advise you go there if you're like not stable enough to handle that kind of thing. But if you're a risk taker and you want to go, I definitely recommend you go to Sensabaugh Tunnel. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I will see y'all next video.